Шановні колеги, ми продовжуємо робочий день до слова.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. And now the floor is given to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear friends. Now the information about the events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, ceasefire continues. Donetsk area, yesterday in Vasilivka, Druga, Avdiivka, and Krasnogorovka, there were a number of mortar shellings delivered by the enemy. The enemy launched about 60 mines at our positions. Also in the evening, ATO forces successfully repelled the attack of subversive group that included 10 militants at Svetlodarska Balch near Troitske village. Also, a number of provocations were in Lugansk and Gorlovka. It was calm in Donetsk airport. There, the enemy didn't deliver fire, maybe because of the visit of Ivan Shimonovich, UNO Secretary General Aid on Human Rights. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Donetsk area, there were 15 enemy shellings and 1 military clash. In Mariupol area, about 2 hours military actions were carried out between the forces of ATO and forces of the enemy near Mariinka, Krasnogorovka, Vodyanne, Shirokino. The enemy delivered mortar fire. It was calm on the front line in Mariupol area, and on the whole there were 34 enemy shellings and 1 military clash. Yesterday in the region of ATO operation, the enemy carried out reconnaissance activities twice with the use of air drones. Reconnaissance air drones were observed in the skies above Avdiivka, Taramchuk. During the last 24 hours, as a result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 2 were wounded. It happened in Troitske and Zaitsevo. The losses of the enemy during the last 24 hours near Troitske and Mariinka: 2 were killed and 3 were killed from so-called 3rd and 100th Detached Motorized Brigade. The places of their deployment is Gorlovka and Donetsk. Also, Chief Intelligence Department of MOD got information about losses sustained by the enemy from 9th Detached Assault Motorized Regiment of Marines, that is in Novoazovsk, on the 31st of May. According to Chief Intelligence Department, a commander of the 2nd Motorized Battalion was killed, and 2 officers were heavily wounded. Also, they are from the same battalion. On the whole, the morale of this unit is low. During the last several days, 17 militants submitted applications to serve in Syria because in Donbass the payment is delayed. So new supplies from Russia to the militants. 33 railway tanks with fuel and lubricants were brought to Rovinky town, more than 1,650 tons. Also, 10 Russian tanks and 7 Grads were brought to Dovzhansky. During the last 24 hours, 2 militants of Vostok Battalion were detained. One of them was anti-tank guided missile system operator. He was hiding in Mariupol after he returned from the occupied territory. Also, the 2nd militant was detained in Krasnogorovka. There he went to have some rest after the year of serving in the ranks of the militants. He was involved in repair works. Also, there are court hearings of those militants that were detained previously by the law enforcers. Kremensky Regional Court sentenced 2 militants in April 2014. They served a checkpoint near Kirovska. They checked vehicles and documents of civilians. Both militants were sentenced for 1.5 years in prison. SBU prevented terror attack in Donbass. In the course of patrolling the area, law enforcers together with servicemen found 400 grams of plastide with detonators near railway line, near Verkhnytoretsky village, that is in Yasenovat region. Law enforcers also confiscated illegal weapons and ammunition from the region of ATO, and this is RPG-18 for 100 grams of TNT, 200 grams of plastide, also some fuses, mortar mines, and 1,000 cartridges of 7.62 millimeter of caliber. In Svadivsky water reservoir in Kharkivshina, there was testing of BTR-4 that is called Bucefal, that was developed by bureau named after Morozov. And this armored vehicle is very good in maneuvering and while crossing water barriers. And this armored vehicle has great characteristics. Do you have some questions? Thank you. Colonel, do you have questions or comments? If there are no, thank you. So this is the end of press briefing, and the next briefing is at 1 p.m.